Hi there. This is Mike Cagley along with Brad Sturdy and Kedric Prince. We are part of the IlliniGuys team, and we are happy to give you a preview of Casey Washington, who was selected Saturday afternoon in the sixth round, 187th overall by the Atlanta Falcons in the 2024 draft. Casey is a guy who works out, a hard worker. He's a guy who runs routes pretty precisely, and he has had some big moments for the Illini. Brad, when people are looking, the Falcons are looking for what he's going to contribute. How would you assess Casey for those Falcon fans?
Well, he makes big plays. And I wouldn't say, I don't want to say he takes the top off a lot, but what he does is he makes plays, contested catches. He gets if he gets his hands on the ball, he catches it. And that's important. I think the pro day vaulted him into the draft. I think he was going to be an undrafted free agent until his pro day when he ran a 40 time. And they're like, wait a second. This guy makes all these contested catches. He gets these jump balls. He actually won a game for Illinois. Literally, they would have lost early in the season last year if he doesn't make a miraculous catch. I guess when he was doing it wasn't miraculous, but he just went up over the guy and grabbed it and makes the catch for a first down on fourth down. That's the kind of plays he made. He made numerous plays like that over the course of his career, whether it's touchdowns, whatever. His 40 time blew me away because he'd made all these contested catches and they never really used him in a role where he could go and get deep. And he was just like a route runner, run ins, run outs, and little fades, but they didn't really let him go downfield. Now he's shown that he can run. I really think that he's going to be, there's another dimension there now when he gets to the NFL that maybe we didn't see. But yeah, he's just a guy who makes contested catches. In the NFL, there's windows are small. There's a guy who can make those plays.
I'm going to tell you, I think I didn't watch every team play football this season, so I'm not going to sit here and lie. But from what I've seen, he was one of the best possession receivers in college football from what I saw, the games that I watched. He is a guy that if you knock him off route, he doesn't run from defensive cornerbacks. He's going to catch the ball. And we're not just trying to sell you on Casey Washington. Brad's right. He won games for Illinois this year. There were games where the biggest thing I liked about him where he kept drives alive. He's able to go make plays when it's third down. I knew, and I don't know how the opposing coaches didn't know, he was going to be the guy to go get the ball. And there's a little joke running around. There's highlights of Casey Washington, and one of the highlights was him picking up a fumble. I mean, the fans were thinking, okay, oh my gosh, this is all the highlights this kid has. Don't kid yourself. He's going to play if he makes his roster and he's given a chance because he's strong. He's a physical guy. And if you look at his body, he's ready. He's already made for the NFL. So giving him a chance to, put on that uniform, I think the Atlanta fans are going to be happy. And I think he's going to be a guy that's going to go out there and compete. I think he was a steal. I've always thought he was a good player. From the day he came on campus, I met him when he was a little freshman and had to build a great relationship with the guy. He's also a very friendly guy. This past season, he was on the field and he was walking by and I yelled something at him and just as a joke. And, thought he was going to keep walking. He came over and gave me a high five and said, hey, I know who you are. Just keep doing what you're doing. He's a really good guy. And I think he'll be a good locker room guy for you guys as well.
Yeah, I think that 4.46 40 at 202 pounds, 6'2". I think Brad made an excellent point because we didn't see him get a lot of separation because he was always running routes that really don't get you a lot of separation. And so we saw him, he's a little bit like an old man basketball player. He uses his hips, he uses his shoulders, he uses his body to shield the defender away from the ball. I think in some respects, I'm not trying to say he's a big play receiver like this, but he reminds me a little bit of Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin made you go through him to make a play on the ball, and Casey Washington's a little like that. I also think probably his most famous moment might be the game-winning 2-point conversion in the ninth overtime from Brandon Peters for the 20.
Conditioned. He's well conditioned.
He's in well conditioned.
Overtimes.
Played 9 overtimes, got the 2-point conversion in the 20-18 win over Penn State on the road. And that, folks, is the longest game in college football history. And it does give you a little bit of an idea of what Casey does. And the other thing is with Ked's story, he's a guy who's popular with his teammates. You always saw him. He's very positive. He's in the middle of congratulating his teammates. He's in the middle of the emotional moments. And many times he's in the middle of it because he's the guy who just made the play that is really important for the team. So we have good expectations for him as an Atlanta Falcon, and we think that speed may indeed open up the door to things that he just didn't get to do in college. Do you gentlemen have any final thoughts?
You look at Casey Washington, the other thing about him is he was overshadowed by Isaiah Williams, who was the guy, and they used him in the slot. They got the ball to Isaiah, and he was a first-team All-Big Ten. I think sometimes Casey may have made the more, I don't know, a lot of the more key plays, the difficult catches. That's where Isaiah was more in the slot, where they wanted to get him in where he could move, and Casey he'd be manned up and had to go make a play. So I think sometimes I don't know, we forgot about him a little bit this year, but he just made plays. I was like, what does they used to say about Chris Carter? All he does is catch touchdowns.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy Ryan.
Just wrapping up here real quick. I think one thing that hurt him was he didn't have a lot of touchdowns because he just got them to the point where they could score touchdowns. That's the one thing I'll say about him and I will be really curious to see if in the NFL if they use him differently and allow him to do that. Because if you can throw the ball to him at the 30, 40-yard line and he's able to make catches, I can only imagine, and this is no knock against Illinois' system or the quarterbacks, putting a good guy behind the ball to throw the ball to him to go get it. He's not going to be knocked off the ball. He doesn't run from competition. I'm not being a homer. I just think the kid's really good, and he's going to probably have a really successful career in the NFL, especially if he can run like that. I can't wait to see if they'll throw the ball deep to him, because that happened at Illinois, but it was only when they needed that one key catch, because it was to him every single time.
Yeah, I think Atlanta Falcon fans are going to have some reasons to be optimistic with Casey Washington, and he might surprise with what he can do. And of course, if you enjoy this, we are the Illini guys. We also have a radio show that focuses on the overall Big Ten, where there's a ton of players who will be coming to the NFL draft through the Big Ten. That's called Big Sports Radio. And in the Atlanta area, we are on WWWE radio. That's 1100 a.m. We're on Fridays at 3 p.m. So if you like us, you can hear us on that station on Big Sports Radio. Thank you very much.